Okay, so you're thinking about law school.
Mm-hmm.
Then, yeah, you are definitely thinking about the LSAT. It's kind of unavoidable,
It really is. And it's crucial.
especially if you want to get into those, top choice schools. There's one section, logical reasoning.
Ah, yes. The big one.
Right. It carries just a huge amount of weight. People say it could be, what, like 60% or even more of the formula?
Yeah, depending on the school, absolutely.
Okay.
Combined with the GPA, it often tips the scales significantly. It's a major determinant.
Okay, so we definitely need to dive deep into that section. Logical reasoning. Let's figure out what makes it tick.
Sounds good. So basically, each logical reasoning section throws somewhere between 24 and 26 short arguments at you.
Short arguments, like little paragraphs.
Exactly, little passages. Think of them almost like mini puzzles or mysteries.
Okay.
And each one is followed by a question. The whole point is to probe your ability to dissect that information, understand the logic or the flaws in logic.
Right, so it demands pretty quick thinking,
Right.
sharp analysis. Now, just so we're clear, logical reasoning isn't the only thing on the LSAT, right?
Oh, no, not at all. You've also got analytical reasoning.
The logic games. Everyone talks about those.
Those infamous logic games, yes.
Yeah.
Then there's reading comprehension, which is maybe more familiar.
Uh-huh.
And there's usually an experimental section.
Experimental, so it doesn't count.
Correct. Doesn't count towards your score,
Yeah.
but the tricky part is you won't know which section is experimental. It could look like any of the others.
Sneaky. Okay, what else?
And crucially, the writing sample.
Ah, yes, the essay bit at the end.
Right. And this is important. You have to attempt it. You can't just skip it.
Really? Why not?
Well, the Law School Admission Council, LSAC, they might not score your entire test if you don't submit a writing sample.
Wow. Okay. Good to know. So attempt everything. Got it.
Definitely tackle all the components.
So after you've battled through all those sections,
Yeah.
how does the scoring actually work?
Good question. Typically, the whole test has around 100 or maybe 101 scored questions. That varies slightly.
Yeah.
Your raw score is just the number you get right. Simple enough.
Number correct. Okay.
But then that raw score gets translated or scaled onto the famous 120 to 180 range.
Ah, that's the number everyone talks about, 120 to 180.
Exactly. And each specific LSAT test date has its own unique conversion chart for turning that raw score into the scaled score.
Interesting. So a 75 raw score might be a 161 month, but maybe a 161 another month?
Potentially, yeah. It depends on the specific difficulty of that test form. And interestingly, that 120-180 scale, it's basically just a renumbered version of the 200-800 scale you see on tests like the SAT or GRE.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense. Now, here's something I've heard. Is it true there's no penalty for wrong answers?
Absolutely true. Zero penalty for guessing wrong. None.
So if you're stuck or running out of time,
Always. Always guess. Never leave an answer blank. Fill in something.
okay, that's a huge relief, actually. Take some pressure off. Maybe we should talk guessing strategy sometime.
Ah, yeah, that's a whole other rabbit hole. But for now, just know. Always guess.
Got it. So with that sort of overview, what's our main goal here today, our mission?
Yeah. The mission for this deep dive is really to pull out the key strategies, the core insights for tackling that logical reasoning section effectively.
Focusing just on LR for now.
Exactly. What makes it unique and how can you approach it confidently?
Okay, great. So you mentioned these short arguments followed by a question. What's the first thing, like the immediate challenge when you hit that section?
Time. Definitely time.
Knew it.
Yeah. You get 35 minutes for each logical reasoning section.
85 minutes. And how many questions was it? 24 to 26?
Exactly. So if you do the math, that breaks down to an average of about 1 minute and 25 seconds per question.
Wow. 1 minute, 25 seconds. Average.
Average, yeah. That's the key word. Some questions you'll hopefully answer much faster. Others might take you closer to 2 minutes, maybe even a bit more.
So managing that clock is critical.
It's probably the biggest challenge for most test takers, honestly, balancing speed and accuracy.
A minute and a half-ish per question.
Yeah, that really highlights that you need to be efficient and right, not just eventually right.
Precisely. You don't have the luxury of pondering forever.
Okay, so besides the time crunch, what else is fundamental to understand about LR? Maybe something in the instructions.
Yes, definitely. And this is something people sometimes gloss over. The instructions, which, by the way, are the same every time they make a crucial point.
Which is?
They explicitly say that while more than one answer choice might seem plausible or conceivable,
Uh-huh.
your job is to pick the best answer.
The best answer. not just a correct answer.
Exactly. The one that most accurately and completely answers the question being asked.
Most accurately and completely. That's a really important detail.
It is. It means you can't just stop when you find an answer that seems okay. You have to evaluate all of them, looking for the strongest option.
The most direct response to the specific question.
Precisely. It really forces you to pay super close attention to the wording, both in the question itself and in all the answer choices. That makes sense. Anything else in those instructions we should know?
Yes. They also warn you very clearly not to bring in outside assumptions.
Meaning like stuff you know about the world, but that isn't actually in the little argument.
Exactly that. You
Oh.
have to judge the reasoning only based on the information given in that short passage,
Okay.
and whatever logical inferences you can directly draw from it. Resist that temptation to add your own facts or opinions.
So operate only within the world of that paragraph.
That's a great way to put it. The argument is its own self-contained world.
Got it. Any other hidden gems in the directions?
Well, one very practical tip. It's small, but it saves time.
Okay.
Since the directions for LR are always identical.
Right, you said that.
It's really smart to get completely familiar with them before you start doing timed practice tests, like know them cold.
Ah, so you don't waste precious seconds reading them on test day.
Exactly. Those seconds add up. Read them once or twice carefully when you start studying, understand them, and then you can just skip right past them when the clock starts.
That's actually a really good simple tip. Just reclaim that little bit of time through prep.
Every second counts on the LS.
Okay, so let's try and recap the basics of logical reasoning then. We've got these sections with short arguments, each with one question.
Yep, about 24 to 26 per 35-minute section.
Which means roughly a minute and a half per question, give or take.
Right, time pressure is key.
And the goal isn't just a right answer, but the best answer, the most accurate and complete one.
Crucial distinction.
And you need to base that answer only on the info given. No outside knowledge.
Stick to the text.
Plus, knowing the directions beforehand saves you a few ticks on the clock.
Smart test taking. Exactly. Understanding these fundamentals is really the first step. It's the foundation.
It sort of sets the stage for digging into, different types of questions and argument patterns.
Precisely. Once you get these basics down, you can start building more advanced strategies for how to actually attack different problems.
Okay. So for anyone gearing up for the LSAT, keeping this initial framework for logical reasoning in mind seems vital.
Absolutely. Know the format, respect the clock, and always hunt for that best answer within the given information.
It's more than just finding an answer. It's understanding the rules of the game.
Well put. And, think about this for a second, maybe beyond just getting into law school.
Okay.
The skills you sharpen in this section, quickly analyzing information, evaluating how arguments are built, spotting assumptions, finding the most solid conclusion.
Yeah.
Those are incredibly useful skills just in life, right?
That's
Yeah.
a really interesting point, like for work decisions or even just figuring out news articles or something.
Exactly. Anytime you need to think critically and make reasoned judgments, you're basically building a powerful critical thinking toolkit that serves you long after the LSAT is over.
So it's not just jumping through a hoop for admissions. There's a lasting value there.
I certainly think so. It really trains your brain in a valuable way.